Check it out, check it, check it out, check it, check it, check it out, check it.
Hey, Greg and the CE call me hip hop junkie. Straight to your dome piece like Grass Monkey. All I wanna know, do you wanna get funky? CNC beats be kicking.
Welcome back to the Dig Podcast. Today's episode is a little different. We're talking directly to parents because let's be real. Being a sports parent is one of the toughest and most important roles out there. You want the best for your kid, but sometimes in trying to help, even though your heart may be in the right place, we can accidentally make the journey a little bit harder for them. So today, I'm giving you a game plan, a parent's guide on how to support your athlete the right way. From practices to tournaments to car rides to college recruiting, we'll cover it all. Let's dig in. So let's talk about practices. Well, when it comes to practice, here's the first tip. Let practice be your athlete space. This is where they're supposed to mess up, where they're supposed to push themselves, and where they're supposed to figure things out on their own. As parents, I know it's pretty tempting to coach from the car ride or question drills after practice. But remember, that's your coach's job. Your role is to support from a distance. So here's a challenge. The next time an issue or situation comes up, encourage your athlete to ask questions and communicate directly with their coach. That simple skill, speaking up for themselves, teaches accountability and confidence that goes way beyond volleyball, especially in a world where people would rather text and hide behind a screen. Correct conflict resolution and communication are valuable life skills that go well into workplace or relationships later in life. Now let's talk about game days. Parents, this is your time to be a fan, not a coach. Cheer loud and be positive. Instead of trying to control every play with hand signals or body language or sideline coaching, just enjoy the moment and be supportive, even during the tough moments. Here's the truth. Your athlete already feels the pressure of performing. They don't need extra pressure coming from the stands. What they need from you is energy, encouragement, and belief, even if the scoreboard isn't in their favor. Here's a challenge. When the team or player isn't doing very well, I want you to think before you act. Ask yourself, am I helping the situation or making it worse? Now, do you really think that sideline coaching is going to have any impact in the game at all? Do you really think it's going to change the outcome? Make the situation about them, not about you and your feelings. And then we get to tournaments. Long weekends, high intensity, lots of emotions, tons of money being spent. I get it. But here's the key. We have to stay focused on your athlete and your team. Don't get caught comparing playing time, complaining about referees. Negativity spreads fast, and kids pick up on it. Model respect. Celebrate great plays, even if it's not by your kid. Set the tone in the stands that builds team culture, not drama. So here's the challenge. When the pressure is getting high or negativity is creeping in during a tournament situation, take a few deep breaths and master some self-talk. Ask yourself, how can I make this situation better? What can I do differently? All right, let's address car rides home. This is probably the most stressful place for an athlete to be in. Here's the golden rule. Keep it light. Instead of breaking down every mistake, just ask a simple open-ended question like, what was your favorite moment today? If they want to talk about the game, let them lead. If they don't, that's okay too. Wait until emotions cool down before diving into performance. Make the car ride home a safe place, not a post-game press conference. So I get asked all the time by parents, Coach Mike, how do I push my kid without pushing them away? Well, the answer is very simple: balance. You want to encourage effort over results. Praise their hustle, their focus, their commitment. But don't be afraid to hold them accountable when they want to quit just because it gets hard. Remember, mama didn't raise no quitter. Your job is to remind them that adversity is part of the journey and pushing through it builds grit. But you don't need to push so hard that they burn out. Find that middle ground. Here's a big one. Let's talk about college recruiting because this is a big area where parents want to step in. Here's the deal. Yes, you should help with logistics, setting up travel, filming highlight videos, keeping track of dates, but let your athlete own the process. They should be the ones writing emails to college coaches, sending in their film, making phone calls, following up. They should also be researching schools, figuring out what they might want out of college life. They should be helping to edit their highlight reels so that they can own part of the journey. I guarantee your athlete knows what plays will look good better than you do. It also teaches them to work for what they want. Why? Because in college, they'll need to advocate for themselves. This process teaches self-reliance, responsibility, and work ethic. If you do it all for them, then they lose that growth opportunity. Here's a quick note on sideline culture. Be mindful of how you interact with other parents. Avoid gossip, complaining, or comparing kids. It only creates negativity. Celebrate other players' successes just as if it was your own kid. When a parent builds positive culture, it makes the whole experience better for the kids. Now, look, I've been coaching for 25 years, and I could tell you hundreds of crazy stories of situations gone bad. Look, yes, you want to build culture. Yes, you want to have good times on the sidelines, in the hotels. I understand. I've been part of some awesome stories like that also. Each family is different. Consider each other as teammates do. It's a delicate balance between friends and competition. I'll say it again louder for the people in the back. Be mindful of how you interact with other parents. And finally, parent to coach interactions. Look, keep it simple. Just respect their boundaries. During games and practices, let the coaches coach. If you do need to talk, schedule a time and keep it professional. Remember, you and the coach should be on the same team. Both of you want what's best for your athlete. Treat the relationship like a partnership, not a battle. In the clubs that I used to own, we had some rules. The player first could always talk to the coach after any practice or match. If that didn't resolve it, then we moved to step number 2. Parent and player meets with the coach, but only if step number 1 occurred. Step number 2 couldn't happen until after 48 hours of said practice or match. If step number 2 didn't resolve the situation, then we move to step number 3. That's where the owner and the director have a meeting with the coach, the player, and the parent. Now, not all teams operate this way, but the good rule of thumb here is wait. Cooler heads always prevail, and always respect boundaries and keep things professional. I hope you understand this is just one way of looking at it. It's not perfect, but it's what I believe in my 25 years of coaching would be helpful. These are just tips. Take some, take them all, or take none of them. Challenge me with some comments if you disagree. Come on the podcast and be a guest and let's talk about it. I'd love to have you. Maybe your insight can help other parents that are in your situation. I just believe that at the end of the day, sports are bigger than wins and losses. They're about preparing your kids for life. The way you handle practice games, car rides, adversity, it all becomes a part of your athlete's foundation. So support them, cheer for them, push them just enough, and most importantly, Let them grow into athletes who can stand on their own. Thanks for tuning in to the Dig Podcast. If this episode helped you, please share it with other parents, coaches, or athletes who might need it. And remember, dig deep, not just in the game, but in life. We'll see you next time.